Are you planning a move from Minnesota to Colorado? Well, don't you know, this video is just for you. Hey everybody, I am Alyson Wahl with Live South Denver, your real estate strategist and realtor for the South Denver area. Today, we're gonna dish on the difference between these two great states so that if you're planning a move from Minnesota in the Twin Cities area, or maybe another area outside of that into Colorado, you'll get a great feel for the differences, the similarities, cost of living, and is anyone here gonna know what hot dish is? I asked some of my Minnesota friends what they love about being here in Colorado, and this is what they had to share. I love the mountains, the sun, and the overall weather in Colorado. I love the mild weather compared to Minnesota. This person says, I hated the extreme Duluth cold and the deathly hot humidity in the Minneapolis summers. I love more outdoor recreational opportunities like skiing, hiking, biking, ATV, horseback riding, etc. to enjoy in the pleasant Colorado weather. Oh, and a big exclamation point on no bugs. I do not miss the mosquitoes, the humidity, how cold it gets in January and February, and how the skies stay gray for nearly 6 months in Minnesota. I love the endless amount of things to do here in Colorado. The winter is mild and you barely need to wear a heavy winter jacket. The beer is better here in my opinion. And I love going to the mountains more than up north. This person says, I love Colorado weather, especially the sun all winter long. Love those Colorado mountains. And last, we absolutely love Colorado and the blue skies and the sunshine. Well, since weather and sunshine came up so much, let's just dive right into that. Denver's average annual high in the winter is about 49 degrees, and our low in the winter runs in the 20s. From June to September, our average temperatures are low 80s to low 90s. Of course, as you know with averages, we can definitely get hotter than that. Our summertime lows are dreamy, they're 50s and 60s. Your winter high averages are our lows, 20 degrees, and your lows are single digits and teens. Okay, here's the thing. I hear that Alaska and Russia don't even get as cold as you do. That is so not my cup of tea. Or maybe I should say, oofta. Now, your summer temps look dreamy on paper. Highs in the 70s and 80s, lows in the 60s. But the thing is, we've got you beat with that dry air because the land of 10,000 lakes is not dry. Nope. Your average humidity is around 70%. In Colorado and Denver, our average humidity year-round is 37%. 30 in the summers and 40 in the winters. And for most people, dry cold feels better than wet cold, and 80 degrees feels better with dry air than it does with humid air. I mean, unless you like that sort of thing. Denver's weather is and feels pretty mild year-round. We do have our hot days. We can hit 100 degrees. Typically, we max out in the mid-90s. And we do have our cold days. At least I think so. I don't think any Minnesotan is gonna think that our cold winter days are cold, at least not until you've lived here a while and thinned out your blood a little bit. Our first and last snows in each state probably start and end around the same time. We get our first snow here usually around October. It almost always snows on Halloween weekend, and we're wrapping up snow in April, sometimes into May. We do follow the rule of not planting and turning on sprinklers till after Mother's Day weekend. Once May hits, it's generally summer weather, though we do get those fluke years where it doesn't really warm up until June. We keep those nice warm temps all the way through November. We do, as I mentioned, get snow in October and in November, but we rebound with plenty of Indian summer days in between those storms. Colorado has 300 days of sunshine a year. That's more than Florida, and I know for sure because I used to live there. And with the 300 days of sun that we get, it means that winters aren't dreary. The winter days feel warm unless we have that pesky wind. The snow that we get melts off so quickly, and it just brings a cheery vibe all year round. Winters don't feel sulky, and I will say the one thing that does get sulky are Coloradans if we have more than about 2 days of clouds. Let's see, we've touched on temps, we've touched on humidity, we've touched on snow. Oh, I mentioned wind briefly. So we we get some serious winds here because we're down toward the plains, but the mountains aren't far away. We get that mixing of cold and warm air, and we get what we call Chinook winds, and they can be intense. If you happen to have already seen any of my other videos, you may have heard me talk about it. I hate the Chinook winds. They can put me in a sour mood. It's probably about the only thing I hate about Colorado, so you won't hear me complain much else. We also get thunderstorms, thunder snow, and good-sized hailstorms every now and again. Let's transition to some money talk. Cost of living comparison between Minnesota and Colorado. Particularly, we're going to focus on the Twin Cities versus Denver, but we will touch on a few other locations in your fine state. So let's start with Minneapolis. Bestplaces.net says that Minneapolis is 17% cheaper than living in Denver as an overall cost of living difference. If you had a $110,000 salary in Denver, you would only need an $89,000 salary in Minneapolis to be maintaining the same lifestyle. Bestplaces.net also says housing in Minneapolis is 36% less than it is here in the Denver market. NerdWallet.com is a bit more generous towards Denver. They say that the cost of living difference between the two is only 6%. Minneapolis is on the better end of the stick. You would need $103,000 there in salary to compare to Denver's $110,000 in salary. But they do say that Denver's housing market is 26% more expensive than Minneapolis's. So is there a difference between the Minneapolis side and the St. Paul side? Well, bestplaces.net and nerdwallet.com give a little bit different data. Nerdwallet.com pretty much gives the same numbers in comparison to Denver for both Minneapolis and St. Paul. I know they are two cities and they're very different. One is very vibrant, full of the city and the skyscrapers, and the other is a bit more of your residential, your Victorian homes, a bit more quaint. However, nerdwallet.com doesn't apply any difference in cost of living between the two compared to Denver. Even when bestplaces.net looks at all the different areas of St. Paul, the numbers are pretty similar across the board. Bestplaces.net says that if you've been in St. Paul, $80,000 to $85,000 there gives you a similar lifestyle in Denver if you're going to earn $110,000 here. They do say that the housing market in St. Paul is 40 to 50% less than the housing market here in Denver. All right, what about if you live in Rochester? Not everyone lives in those Twin Cities, right? NerdWallet.com didn't give us any data, but bestplaces.net says that a $110,000 salary in Denver is equivalent to a $75,000 salary in Rochester. The overall cost of living difference between the two cities is about 27%, and housing is 46% less in Rochester compared to Denver. NerdWallet.com did give us some data on St. Cloud. They say the cost of living difference between the two cities is about 11%, and $110,000 in Denver could be $98,000 in St. Cloud. Though they do say the housing cost difference is 43% between the two cities. The data might be a little bit off because a 43% housing cost difference seems to me like you might need a little bit more income in Denver, right? 98 to 110, that's only a $12,000 difference. I think you'd need a little bit more if the housing cost was over 40% different. Okay, moving on to taxes. Since Minnesota is a graduated income tax state and Colorado is not, we are going to have some comparison based on WalletHub's data, but it's really going to depend on what tax bracket you're in as to how much of a difference you see when you move here. WalletHub gives us the effective state and local combined tax rates and its burden on its citizens per state. They rank it. Well, Colorado ranks pretty well. Our effective combined tax rate is 8.54%. Minnesota's effective combined tax rate is 11.27%. WalletHub uses median state incomes. They combine their state and local tax rates, and they use that to determine what is the burden on their citizens. Minnesota does not rank nearly as well in this 1 through 50 ranking as Colorado does, because as you can tell, there's about a 2.5 point difference there. The effective property tax rate in Colorado, it is 0.51%, and in Minnesota, it is 1.12%. So what does Colorado's effective tax rate look like in the real world? So in the South Denver area, if you buy a $500,000 home, you're generally going to pay about $5,000 in property taxes. It's closer to 1% of your purchase price because taxes do vary by the community you're in, by the county that you're in, if you're in new construction or older construction. Across the state, the burden is about 1/2 of 1%. So it is possible if you're in a mature community with no HOA that you could pay closer to 20% $2,500 on a $500,000 home. Just know that it is not a 0.5% across the board. So you're thinking of leaving Minnesota, and there are so many gorgeous places you could live across the country. Why is it that thousands of Minnesotans are choosing to come to Colorado every year? One strong reason is jobs. Minnesota is known for having a plethora of Fortune 500 companies in its boundaries. Colorado is no slouch. We have 11 Fortune 500 companies here, and we are known for some great high-paying industries. Big in tech, lots of aerospace and government contract work. We have lots of finance jobs here as well. It's just a small sampling of the industries that draw high-thinking, well-educated folks here who get to enjoy all that Colorado has to offer. We spent a lot of time talking about this one, but it's worth mentioning again, and that is weather. Minnesotans seem to love their winter and their snow, and you don't lose it when you come to Colorado. You just get more mild winters and all 4 seasons with beautiful summers, dry air, and the ability to play outside pretty much all year round. Number 3, open space and parks. I know just how gorgeous your state is. You have an abundance of state and national parks, and your park system inside Minneapolis and St. Paul is really almost second to none. Living in Denver should not disappoint. As you can imagine, with our beautiful mountains, it's quite stunning here with our parks too, and our park system is well supported. We spend our lottery dollars on maintaining open space and parks and trails, so we make it very easy for all of our residents to get right outside from their neighborhood on foot, on bike, and enjoy our beautiful outdoors here year round. All right, no bugs. I mean, it's not completely true, but coming from the south where the bugs are huge and never seem to die off because it's not cold, it really feels like we have no bugs here. Pretty much we have wasps, we have bees, we do get mosquitoes sometimes. Some years I feel like we don't get any. And I promise they're nothing like you're used to in Minnesota. They're definitely not our state bird. If you're curious, our state bird's the lark bunting. Nothing spectacular, but they're not mosquitoes. That's what's important. And we do get spiders. And they really love our dry climate. They'll be all through the rock beds and mulch beds outside the house. If you don't want them coming in, you do have to spray to keep them out. Oh, and for those of you who love lightning bugs or fireflies, whatever you call them, we don't have those here. So that might disappoint you a little bit. But then there's the thing that really brings everyone here to Colorado. It's the amazing lifestyle and the quick access to our stunning nature. There's the biking, the jogging, the rock climbing, the hiking, the paddleboarding, and the leaf peeping all right outside your back door, plus skiing and snowshoeing and rafting. All of those are just a short drive away. I shouldn't fail to mention for you Minnesotans, you can do snowmobiling here as well. I know that's a favorite pastime too. If you're looking to move your family here and you want to up your kids' ski skills, we have the Epic School Kids Ski Pass, and it gives 20 free ski days at 5 resorts, not to be missed, for K through 5th grade, and it's free. Check it out. All right, I know I've given you lots of the good stuff. It's like a Colorado commercial. Why should you move here? But I know I've moved around. When you leave a place that you've lived and you love, there are things you're gonna miss. So what do Minnesotans who have left there and moved here say that they do miss now that they're here in Colorado? Oh, but before I share, when we're done with the video, go down to the description box below and grab your free South Denver relocation guide. You may want that if you're checking out the Denver area. Okay, the number 1 most missed thing, hands down, lakes. Makes sense, right? You're the land of 10,000 lakes, and Colorado is, well, a desert, really. We just don't have that much water, and everything we do have is man-made pretty much. We do have beautiful rivers as you get closer to the mountains, but our lakes, our bodies of water, are generally reservoirs. Right along with the lakes, I heard a lot about the missing of trees, lushness, greenery, the richness of the appearance in the summertime, shade, all the things that go with what come with a place with a lot of water. And it is just so very different here. There really was no other number 2. No honorable mention, no runner-up, but I did catch on to a few other things that I will share with you that people miss. Minnesota State Fair was mentioned. Flea markets were mentioned. I see that you guys have actually quite a few great flea markets. That's not such a big thing here. You could find one, you'll find some cute shops, but nothing like you have where you are. Occasional glimpses of the northern lights. Snow. So There are some people who don't like how little snow we get. Maybe that's a plus for you, maybe it's a minus. I'm not sure. Between Minnesotans, I heard chatter about missing Snicker salad, food on a stick, casserole and hot dish. These are phrases and foods and things that just are not common here. So if that's your home and it's been your home all your life and you get here, you're gonna have to find your group and your tribe so you can swap stories and dishes and things that make you feel at home. Most people don't say oofda. I actually do. It is a part of my vernacular, but it's not gonna be a very common thing. So those little catchphrases from back home, you'll probably miss those too. And one I thought I would hear more about but didn't is missing caribou coffee. They are such a big deal in Minnesota and we don't have that many locations here, but I think what helped is that we do have 11 locations around Denver and the Front Range area. And I'm gonna put a link in the description box down below so you can go find them, see where they are, and just know that you won't have to be without your caribou coffee if you come to Denver. If moving to Denver is on your wish list or in your plans, know that I would be thrilled to talk with you. Please feel free to reach out, give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email, whatever works best for you, and I look forward to connecting. Hey, I will see y'all next week.